Before the emergence of the leisure centre in the 1970s, Britain was home to over 150 open-air swimming pools, or lidos. Scenes like this were commonplace on summer days across the country. But sadly, over recent decades, the majority of lidos have either fallen into disrepair or have disappeared completely. Alongside the River Avon in Bath is the oldest lido in the country, the only Georgian example still standing, the Cleveland Pools. This pool was built in 1815 and paid for by the residents of Bath. It's less than a mile from the famous Pulteney Bridge, and yet it's a Georgian architectural gem of its own. Unfortunately, swimming stopped here in the 1980s, and now its future is about to be decided. Looking around the place, it's easy to see both its inherent beauty and also the serious difficulties that will face any plan to reopen the site for swimming. Imposing residential buildings tower over one side of the pools, and on the other is the flood-prone River Avon. The main pool was last used as a fish farm and is filled with weeds and rubbish. And does Bath even need a place like this, with the Thermae Spa a success in the centre of the city? The local council, Bath and North East Somerset, have put the site up for sale, and now they're close to agreeing a proposal that may actually bring swimming back to this site after many years. Prince Charles's heritage charity, the Prince's Regeneration Trust, is one of the partners involved in the current scheme to save Cleveland Pools. Their chief executive is Ros Kerslake. Ros, this magnificent building, but how significant is it really?
It's the only surviving Georgian lido in the country. It survived right through to that period when local councils all started to provide indoor heated swimming pools. I mean, now it's coming right back into popularity. People now see outdoor swimming as a fantastic thing. And of course, the point about going to a lido is swimming is only a tiny part of it. It's so much about enjoying the day, it's about the experience. And what, of course, this one's got that others don't have is this fantastic setting and these wonderful buildings.
And I suppose the key question is, how much will all this cost?
We're working on the detailed numbers at the moment, but we think it's going to be around £2 million. That's the sort of number we're expecting it to be.
A snip?
A snip? Well, I think clearly £2 million is a lot of money, but when you think about the facility that it will offer people, and there's nothing else comparable available at Bath at the moment, so I think it will be something that will attract, as I say, not just the people of Bath who will find it enormously valuable, but I think will add to the tourist offering of Bath.
The Prince's Regeneration Trust was introduced to the project by the Osborne Group, experts in restoring and regenerating historic buildings.
We were talking about partnerships. I said, well, you should come to Bath. I mean, Prince of Wales, after all, the patron of Bath Preservation Trust, and he loves the city. What are you doing in Bath? And Ros Kerslake, chief executive, said, well, we're not engaged in Bath at the moment. I said, here's a golden opportunity for you. And we agreed we'd enter into it as a partnership. We're a World Heritage city, and the idea that we can't between us save the only surviving Georgian lido in Britain, it doesn't occur to me as realistic.
I'm convinced that this is a place worth saving. Surely here, in a city of baths, the local council should take a responsibility to ensure its future.
I don't think the council should be in the business of lidos. People from the Cleveland Pools Trust who have a great sense of why they want to do it. And the Prince's Regeneration Trust and Trevor Osborne have a very good chance of bringing something forward which will hopefully be an exemplary use of a heritage asset.
So you're prepared to sell it for £1 now, as long as it works?
£1.50 or whatever.
£1.50 or whatever. The potential is certainly there, but I'm still concerned about the problem of getting people to and from the pools. Bristol architect George Ferguson is a great advocate of the use of waterways to reduce road traffic, which in this case could be a realistic option.
The natural access is by boat, and it would just be a wonderful experience.
George has been involved in feasibility studies for the site and is well placed to give an opinion on the scope for regeneration.
I think there's every opportunity to add cafe and other facilities there. It needs new loos, it needs possibly a bit of heat, but that's got to be done by sustainable, renewable means. I think modern development will enhance it, but it's very, very sensitive.
Doesn't the council have a responsibility to look after this site?
I think the council could have been more enlightened in its approach to these pools in the past, and I do think that they should play a part in terms of the funding and its maintenance.
There are already so many pools in Bath. I mean, does it need any more?
Yeah, but they're very different experiences. I mean, you can float in a hot bath on the roof of the spa. You can be in an Olympic pool up at the university. You could be in a covered municipal pool. And this will be so different. It's all about the place. It will be about enjoying this delightful little enclave. Coming this way has convinced me even more of the value of doing this project.
In November last year, the Clifton Lido was reopened after nearly 20 years of neglect. The original baths, opened in 1850, had been transformed into a slick modern complex. But could this refurbishment be used as a template for Cleveland? I asked Arnie Ringner, the man whose vision reshaped this Victorian jewel.
I think the prospect of carrying all these components down a 3-foot alley to make it possible down on the site in Cleveland, I think that rules out a lot of it. It has got so many expensive drawbacks, and apart from a set of nice looking buildings and a good crescent, I think the location is close to being a non-starter.
As a businessman, what are your views on whether Cleveland is viable or not?
I would dig it up. I would move it stone by stone or bucket by bucket and maybe place it in Henrietta Park in the centre of Bath.
Arnie is not convinced, but perhaps one day residents and visitors to Bath will be able to enjoy a swim at the Cleveland pools once more, in modern, updated surroundings like these here at Clifton.
But I guess it's whether the organisations involved are just ready to take the plunge.